Hey, folks, welcome back. And today, again, we are with Julie. Julie was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer over 4 years ago. She's passed her 4-year mark. How's it feel, Julie?
It's great.
Is it?
It hasn't been easy, but yeah, it feels good.
So, we had done a video maybe about 3 or 4 days ago just talking about how this all started and where you're at. I think that you're incredible and amazing, and I know that you're ready to give cancer a fight, give it all that you have.
100%.
Just wanted to kind of dive into it a little bit more. I think that this is a great series of videos that we'll be able to do, and I know that will help a lot of people. So I'm going to quit talking and let you talk. But I guess my first question would be, after your diagnosis, how did most people respond to you?
It was a mix, to be honest. I heard from a lot of people that I hadn't heard from in a long time. And some of that was good, and some of it, I feel like they just, wanted the gossip, wanted to hear the story, I guess.
The story of how long you're going to live?
Yeah. Actually, I've had that question asked a lot more times than I want to even think about. You know, literally say to my face, well, how long do you have? I think that's not a good question to ask somebody that's going through any kind of illness.
How did that make you feel?
Sad, scared, a lot of things. I didn't want to know how long I had, and I didn't have the answer for them. Because unfortunately, you really don't know. Like they did tell me probably 2 years at best. And look at me,
4 years though.
still here.
Yeah. Wow. So as far as your friends and family go, do you get a lot of support from them?
Um, yeah. My dad was honestly my biggest supporter, but he's passed away from cancer also. So I don't have him anymore. My mom passed away from cancer the year before he did. So I lost both my parents to this horrible disease also.
Do you have any siblings that help?
I do. I have a little brother, and he does help me. And I have a sister. She helps also, but she doesn't live close to me.
Yeah. What about friends? How do friends take your news?
In the beginning, I had a lot of friends. I had more friends than I could count. But as time goes on and you're going through treatment and you don't feel well, oh, you don't have that many friends anymore. I can't go out a lot and can't walk that far, so I don't have as many friends as I used to.
So tell me about today. I know that we had set up a time to do this video and you were late for it, which is completely
Yeah.
understandable. Tell us why you were late.
It happens every month. I was trying to pick up my prescriptions, and unfortunately, when you get pain medication, you can't pick it up until the day that you need it, and a lot of times it's not in stock at the local pharmacy, so you have to find another pharmacy that has it. So I was there waiting to do that.
You were mentioning when you got here about some of the trouble you're starting to have with your feet and your legs.
Hmm.
Can you explain that?
Yeah. I have neuropathy, which is nerve damage, mostly on my left side, and it's painful. It comes in different forms for different people, but for me, it feels like that I'm burning, like that I'm on fire. Someone's peeling my skin off with a hot knife. It's super, super, super uncomfortable. And it's always there to some degree, but some days it's worse than others. Seems like the cold weather kind of makes it worse for me.
Yeah. We were talking after our last interview, and we were kind of talking about at the time of your diagnosis how you initially felt and then what you decided to do. Take take the audience through where Julie was at the time of diagnosis and when you really turned that corner.
Well, actually, I had got the news when I was on my lunch break. I needed to go back to work after they told me that. And they wanted to admit me right then, but I felt like I needed to go back to work. And I guess it just didn't sink into me really right away. I didn't want to believe that. It took me a minute. And on my way back to work, I called my dad, and he just didn't know what to say to me either. There was so many questions that I didn't have the answers to yet. But if I had to describe it in one word, it would just be terrified. Just completely terrified. And I went home and I Googled everything I could think of, and that didn't give me a lot of answers, really. It didn't. And the ones that I did find weren't what I wanted to hear at all.
So for like the first week after you're diagnosed, what do you do? What do you think?
It was it's a blur now, really, but honestly, it was deciding like what course I wanted to do. Did I want to do surgery? Did I want to do chemo? Did I want to even do it at all? Because I knew, as somebody that was single, I didn't have a partner to help me. I knew chemo was going to be horrible, going to be brutal, and I wasn't sure that I could survive it by myself, and I didn't want to move back home with my dad. So I honestly just thought, I have no choice. I got to do this.
What was chemo like?
I don't want to scare anybody, but I'm going to be truthful. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Do you think it extended your life?
I know it did.
Do you?
I know it did. So it is absolutely worth it. And there were days where I thought, I can't do this. I cannot do this, not one more time. And after I would think about it, I would realize that it was worth it. It was helping me. And the sickness didn't last that long. It, like I was telling you earlier, it would take me about 3 days to get sick afterwards. So I knew that. I got it down, like, if I got stuff to do, I got to do it now. Because on that third day, I'm not going to feel like it. So I would just plan my activities around that. And I got through it. I did it every 21 days for 2 years. So that would be my only advice I could tell somebody is, if I can do it, you can do it, because I'm nobody special.
If somebody's watching this video and they just recently received a diagnosis of any stage cancer,
yeah,
what do you recommend they do?
Talk to other people. Talk to somebody that's been through it, that can give you some honest answers, because that's what I searched for a long time. And a lot of the textbook stuff isn't very hopeful, and I wasn't really prepared for what I went through. I think talking to somebody that experienced it is the way to go. And I eventually did get a pen pal that had survived stage 3 breast cancer, and she was a godsend. She was able to help me with a lot of questions and things to do to be able to eat and feel better, stuff that she learned from someone else. That's what I want to do for somebody. I want to be able to help somebody else get through it that thinks that they can't.
How does somebody find a pen pal? I mean, obviously you've made it clear that you're willing to help people.
I found out about a program called Chemo Angels that I Googled, and you sign up for it, and they match you with a pen pal, and they stay your pen pal all through your treatment. And mine even would send me like little gifts, little like encouragement things. And I definitely would recommend that to anybody.
Yeah.
It's a great program.
Yeah, that's really nice. You have a special tattoo. I was wondering if you would tell everybody about that.
I do. It's here on my arm right here, and it says "Cry Standing Up." And I got that the first week that I was diagnosed, and it was just for inspiration to me. And what it means to me is that you can cry about it, go ahead, but you got to do it standing up. You can't lay down and let something beat you. You got to fight. You got to try. You got to give it your all.
What was the single most inspirational thing you used to get through all of this to this point?
Prayer. I prayed every single day.
Probably still do. I'm sure a lot of people pray for you every day.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been really great getting to know you, and I'm really proud of you for just being so honest and upfront. I think when bad things happen to people, sometimes they want to run and hide. And
yeah, they do. And I want to help somebody else. I want to give somebody else the encouragement and let them know I did it. You can do it too.
Well, we're going to try to do more series. I have tons of questions for you. Of course,
Okay,
if
great.
you want to answer them. And
Yeah.
if the viewers have questions, we encourage them to put it in the comments. And
Absolutely.
I'll assemble those and we'll ask them and try to get answers for
Great.
them.
I
Okay.
would love that.
Okay, folks, thanks for watching. Say a little prayer for Julie. She's not
Thank
giving
you.
up.